Welcome, 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 everybody. It's your boy Carceno here. And you're looking at the problem of what's going on as this thing is continuing to spiral and get out of control with Steve Harvey and his wife Marjorie. As they claimed out, Steve has responded to the rumors about Marjorie. And we know this is mostly to do with the children of Steve, as it's being alleged that Marjorie, Steve's third wife, has been pushing Steve to adopt and pay attention to his kids, well, to her kids, over his own biological children. And, we've known Steve has not been present in a lot of his biological children's lives. The twins often talked about and spoke about how, they really didn't see him that much. Even though he paid child support, he wasn't really present in their lives. But now, Lori Harvey has been favored over the twin girls. He had the girls on the show, and they really didn't have a relationship like a lot of his other children did. Lori Harvey has been chosen out of her children to be the one. She improved their brand. So she got Steve to go ahead and adopt Lori and the other children, and they showcased her because they was like, oh, she's going to help improve the brand. And now this dissension is going amongst the blended Harvey clan family. There's unfortunately been some jealousy lingering amongst the siblings of Lori, the most famous of all Steve's kids, taking over the spotlight. So, his twin daughters, they are really not cool with Marjorie one bit. And they see the play. She's used to dealing with drug dealers. She dated two drug dealers. And when you do that, you're putting yourself in a situation where this is going to go left. Now, his second wife revealed that their son was being abused by Steve every time he visited. And he thought she thought this was Marjorie's plan. Like when he was 11, he had bruises and all these things every time he visited Steve's house. He would come home, like his father would punish him for getting bad grades. And it was a nasty, nasty divorce. And many thought, this was a bad thing, but he was cleared of these allegations when he went to court. And he won the case. Now, she said he hit his son in the chest so hard, from lying about some schoolwork, that he was all covered in bruises and cuts and all of these things. And she could have been a bitter woman scorned over what happened by getting dumped for another woman, but Steve got full custody of his son Winston from her because she didn't have the money to fight Steve. And when you don't have the money to fight Steve and his powerful lawyers and all of these things, you just have to submit. So he was able to get full custody. Now, his other son admitted, look, I haven't seen my father until like I was 16. We didn't have no real relationship until I was 16 years old. That's when, I started seeing more of his presence. Now, other people can say what they want, but Steve Harvey has been a very busy man. That was his early years. Being a comedian, you're always traveling, you're always moving. Now he's got all these shows, he's got this brand, and he don't want to upset the apple cart. No way, shape, or form. So his thing is, I'm just here to help people. So with all of these things that's been transpiring in the bigger picture and the bigger scope and scale of things, it's really the twin daughters that are feeling a certain way. Because ever since she was young, Lori's been getting groomed. And everybody's like, oh, she's so cute, she's so beautiful, she's easy on the eyes. They're using her as part of the brand. While the two daughters, the twin daughters who already grown, they've been ostracized, you know. They're just like not the eye candy story they want to promote for Steve. So Steve and Marjorie, you know, it was more than money. She saw Steve as an opportunity to promote her brand. You know, Lori's the brand. They're going to use her to open doors and get sponsorships. And this is a Hollywood inside business. You know, you see this with white Hollywood too, but they just never, promote it that way. You never see them promote how they, prance and promote themselves. They'll take one child out of the group that they feel have the talent, while the other child is like just there. You know, he's just doing whatever it is he does. And he was like, why are you not an actor like your brother? You know, or, oh, I like cars and I'm doing some stuff. I'm doing stuff. You know, so it's a common thing you see. But this Marjorie situation with the kids, it's only gonna get worse. This is only gonna get worse. Steve Harvey acted as if this story just came out of nowhere. But they know what's going on, and they was like, man, I can't, the way she treats Lori and her biological kids, this is unbelievable. That's why I don't support anything any of them do. When he gets older, he's gonna regret what he did to his real kids. I went to high school with the twins. There's a few years ahead of me. People always talked about them. They had eyes on them because of who their father was. He was not present at the graduation. Marjorie knew what she was doing by having Steve adopt them kids and get that name changed. Get that inheritance. Steve and Marjorie are shady people. They deserve each other. So the internet is talking. Now Steve goes out and starts saying, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. We're fine. Now, Marjorie sits there and talks down to the divorce rumors and all of this stuff, but she never says she didn't cheat. Now, the cheating thing never came up. Now, if you go on the Patreon, we're going to see there's more to the story. And big boom, here come the boom, here come the boom, here come the boom, here come the boom. There's more to the big boom than what people really know with Steve. Because they go back and they pre-exist, they go back over 20-something years. Now, you can go back and listen to the how they met story and how that changes. But she was dating known drug dealers. So she was dating and used to being around people with money. Now, rumor is Steve tried to get up with her and she told Steve, you don't make enough. You got to get your paper up before you come holler at me. And then he decided, I got to get my paper up and come back and get this woman. Now, if a woman look at you as a meal ticket and a snack, then that's on you. You should never let a woman come in between your biological kids. Period. I don't understand for the life of me why everyone in the free world is definitely baffled when it comes to this situation. You know, I've been around the block for a long time, and I've seen a lot of different entities. I've seen a lot of different situations play out. And what I'm seeing is uh, a bad situation being brought out, and this is coming from inside the camp. You see what I'm saying? All this information is coming from inside. So some people on the inside are not happy with the current situation there. So now you're starting to see how this information is getting out. Now, and it's looking like it's coming from people that's in the camp that know. Because ain't nobody just pulled this up out the woodwork and said, oh, now she's suing for $200 million. Well, I don't think she would sue, because right now it wouldn't look good for her to sue. If she was to sue Steve and leave Steve right now, that wouldn't look good. That wouldn't be the boss move. See, they're better as a brand. Yeah, when you're better as a brand, what you're doing is you're telling the rest of the world, this is how I feel, this is the movement, this is the direction we want to go in. But nope. What I'm starting to figure out is that these gold digging type women that you see out here every night, trying to find a way to get to a man's heart, find a way to try to break a man's heart down. They care more about what he has more than what he don't have. Or trying to build with a man. They trying to find a way they can take and consume the man. How many of y'all been in relationships and y'all seen the women try to take the man and split the man from his family? And that man ends up integrated in their family. They mothers and fathers, they cousins, they brothers, they sisters. Then all they wanted was the husband out of the group. They didn't care about their family. Well, we'll go over there once a year or twice a year. We'll go there for Thanksgiving for a little while and leave. We'll go there for Christmas for a little while and leave. And that's it. And you never see or hear, they won't show up to anything else. So if you've seen this happen before, you see the woman constantly consumes and throws parties for him, but wouldn't invite his own mother and father to his own birthday party, but would bring her family to stuff. They're trying to pull him away from his family. Now, it's up to the man to say, hey, enough of that. My mom and father should have been here. But that's on them to respond to that. It's up to them to say, hey, we all are family, one. So your cousins, this cousins, whatever, we all together. But some women would do that to get control of the man and run him. Now, there are certain men who believe they run situations that they really don't. And no matter what the reason may be, we don't know what those reasons may be. But what we do know is that there's a lot of people that don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand the scenarios. They don't really get how complicated a marriage is. But when you marry for false pretense, you marry because this woman is beautiful in your eyes. This woman is somebody that's desirable. Marjorie is not better looking than probably, like, maybe one of the wives, maybe two. Like, shoot, the other ones, they look better to me. So it wasn't just like Marjorie, it's the way she carried herself. See, Steve, other wives, they didn't carry themselves as that. They were pretty much simple ladies. Just simple, regular women. Marjorie carried herself as if she was a celebrity herself. She carried herself as if she had standards and she was on a higher upper echelon, and to have her was going somewhere. So Steve got with her so he can get himself on track and pull himself to another level. She made changes and made Steve want to strive to lift weights and go on a diet and try new things. You see, when you get the right kind of woman, they try to mold you into what they want you to be, look, we can get up there like we finna be the Obamas. We could be that for Hollywood. You see, Jay and Beyonce, the same thing. You see the power dynamics shifted in the relationship with Jay and Beyonce. Jay had to change. He went from the Yankees cap tilted to the side to now he's wearing glasses and trying to show he's this humble guy and just give me a chance, Hove. And he changed his whole shirt and all his aggressive music has changed. Now I got to get into these doors. I'm with Beyonce now. Because they didn't want him. They wanted Beyonce. And he helped create Beyonce's image. So he built and shaped Beyonce into something they wanted. Now Matthew had her as a wholesome girl. And that's the Beyonce they loved. The wholesome girl. Then he started putting her with the right people. Well, the right people for him. And used her as a bargaining chip, saying, well, me and Beyonce are going on tour together. They was like, well, we don't want that. Well, that's what you got to get. It's a package deal. You can't get Beyonce without Jay-Z. So they didn't want nothing to do with Jay. And sure enough, they wanted Beyonce there. They got Beyonce. And then they got Jay. Someone they didn't want. So they had to, shoehorn him in. So the power dynamic shifted. And since Jay was in control of everything, he found a way to finagle it to where he's getting the lion's share of the money. So he gets more than Beyonce. But Beyonce is hooked and addicted to fame and fandom. But this is why all her clothing lines fail. They love her so much, they won't even go out and buy her Darion jeans or her Ivy Park. But they love her so much, right? The illusion. Blue Ivy never gave birth to Blue Ivy, but according to the lies, she did. It was clear she wasn't pregnant when she walked on the show with that little belly thing that they put on her, but who would agree to do such a crazy thing? Why would they agree to do that? The surrogate wanted more money and was going to talk, and then next thing you know, somebody legally shut the surrogate up. And you've seen Lori Harvey get and receive all of these accolades, all these $1 million endorsements, and the rest of Steve's children can't get anything like that. Wow, that's surprising. So 3 of Marjorie's kids or whatever is adopted and got Steve's name, the Harvey name, so they could be a brand in one big family. But it's all a farce. We're going to build this brand and Marjorie's going to host this. And because this is why guys like to get married. And they don't promote, like in business, the single guy. Single guys got it harder, way harder than the married guy when it comes to business. See, people seem to trust the married guy. And it's like, okay, well, he's got something he's fighting for. So this is going to mean something to him. The single guy, he ain't going to give a damn. He's like, okay, we lose, whatever. I ain't got no risk. It's only me. I can go do whatever I want. So they don't seem to trust. Like the married guy has the responsibility. He's got a wife and kids to think about. He's got the house. He's got the notes. They understand that. They can relate to that. So those are the guys they promote to those positions because they say this guy has a lot to lose. Single guy, he can quit, go pick up a new job, start a new life. Nothing will change. That's what they fear. More than anything, that's the moment they fear. Well, people will love to listen till they don't want to listen anymore. That's just how it is in society. Steve Harvey is worth about 300 some $1,000,000.
All right.
And that's something people don't seem to register in their brain, but it's true. He's worth that kind of money. Don't mean he has it. Just means he's worth that much money. Now, what people have to understand is when you want to be a man, it's okay to show dominance, right? You don't have to dominate her, but lay it down, your value. Let it show by owning your self-respect. Then you don't fall prey to women's manipulations. You see, women love to manipulate. But if you're strong within yourself, then that's how you're going to win. Now, one mistake men make with women is compliments. Stop complimenting women. They want it. She knows what she looks like. She wants to hear it though. And the moment you surrender that to them and tell them what they look like, they already know, they figure they got you right where they want you, around their finger. You'll do anything with them because of the way they look. So they'll wear something suggestive to get a response out of it. The only thing you should say is, you smell nice. You see? Smell nice. That's it. Because, see, once you start giving compliments, especially about how they look, it's what they're waiting for. So when you do give them that compliment, the one, they're going to remember it. It's going to mean a lot to them. When you compliment them so much, it comes off as desperate. So there's no real self-respect there. You come off kind of pervy. So you want to avoid that. Steve Harvey in his own story starts talking about that woman right there don't know it, but she gonna be my wife. When you start talking like that, you better hope you never get that woman. Because if that woman ends up falling for you after a line like that, oh, she's coming boatloads. Right, you're only interested in the way she looks, and you're shallow. So if her looks is just gonna get you through the door and you're ready to marry the whole package already and you don't even know what the package is, You don't know if she got kids. You don't know nothing about her. She could have been out of a mental institution. You don't know nothing about this woman. Normally, the real pretty and beautiful ones, they come with the most baggage. It's a whole bunch of men built up on building her ego up. And it's up to you to break that ego in half. You're going to have to bring her down to reality. That you're not the other guys she's dated. You see, women can smell weakness from a mile away. And the more indecisive you are, more afraid to tell her something because it might hurt her feelings, you're already setting yourself up for disaster. And women, oh, they could smell it on you. That's why they pick certain guys. The way he dips his shoulder down and, oh, he's cute, but he's kind of shy. They've already made observations on you because of your body language and the way that you move. So Steve Harvey has to know, and he's not, an assertive type of man. So when a man of high value knows they own self-respect, as I told you. So they're not worried about your manipulations. They don't care about it. Because they have their standards and code that they're following. And they're not breaking them for nobody. So I'm not saying don't compliment somebody. Like if she asks, you don't think this is too red? Like, no, that's fine. You don't swarm her with compliments. You do not want to come off as the pervy, desperate guy. Then they'd be like, he's kind of shallow. He just keeps talking about the way I look. Ask her questions about her life. Trying to get to know her. Ask if she got any brothers or sisters. You want to know everything. You want to know where she went to school. You want to know every detail you can about this woman, even on a first date, especially a first date. You want to get as much information as humanly possible because you hate for things to pop up. This is only with somebody you're really interested in. You want to get as much information, period. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know somebody who figured, compliments is the way to a woman's heart. Nope. Seen it happen live at a bar. My roommate, when I had him, you remember way back when, me and my buddy Mike, and he went through his situation and put himself in AA because he was upset. A woman didn't want him. Started drinking like crazy because she left with another buddy of ours. And the reason he just walked in the bar, basically took her and left. And they went to the hotel across the street. Now, why would that happen? How could that happen, you might say? Well, it's very simple. It happens because you have to understand the process of women. Women don't like to be flattered like that, especially at a bar. She's drinking. This is a woman that's drinking. She's there to have a good time and relax. She's not there to hear about your day. She's not there to hear about how fine she is for 2 hours straight. You're already buying her drinks, so she's saying, well, I'm going to sit here because he's buying me drinks, but I'm going to survey the room. I'm like, you're not paying attention to how she's not paying attention to your conversations anymore. This story you're telling is dragging on. Don't need to tell a real drawn out story. Just be short and direct and to the point. Because, you're just getting to know this chick. She doesn't know you yet to go down these long, drawn out stories. Okay, so Mr. Compliments is not going to end up with the girl. And sure enough, our buddy at the time, who's now married and has a beautiful family, he walked right on in, though. He wasn't married at this time. He's a single bachelor, walks right on in, spoke to her in her ear. She was already had a drink in her hand that the other guy bought, my buddy. And sure enough, he said what's up to him. He was speaking to her. And then he was basically like, look, let's go to the hotel across the street. I find that, I think you was hot and all that. Hey, I only got a couple hours out tonight, but let's go over there and leave for a minute and we can come right back. Sure enough, he took her to the hotel across the street, banged her brains out, and then they came back there to the bar to have a drink. And he was pissed. She left and went there and did all that. It's like, look, he was a man of action. You're a man of romancing the stone. And I was like, I'm surprised you didn't bring her a flower. That's how bad this thing was going. I'm like, dude, you're at a bar. It's a chick at a bar, Either, you finna just talk your way out of this or just play it cool and see where it goes. But he's a man of action. He's in sales. This is what we do, clothes. And he saw a deal. He took it and it's like, hey, she's just going to say yes or no. He saw from her eyes and her body language, she was saying yes to everything he was saying from the moment he walked in. So she was already interested. It's like a dog wagging his tail. So, of course, he was the victor. It is simple mathematics. That's all it is. Simple mathematics. Now, what ended up transpiring is the fact that Steve allowed himself to transfer the power of dominance from the moment he opened his mouth and said, that's the woman I want to marry. Compliments and commitments. You don't make them. You do not make them when you're meeting someone. What's the point? When you go, hey, how you doing? Oh, man, you're looking good tonight. What's that? You don't know her any other night, so why would tonight be so special? Lay off the damn compliments and stop making commitments already. So stop commitments and compliments. Reduce those down to 0. Now, everyone else seems to be bending over backwards to try to please women now because they don't know how to talk to them anymore due to social media. Steve don't have that problem. Steve comes from the area that pre-exists social media. So he didn't grow up with this, digital crutch. But women like a man that they gotta figure out. So you have to keep them guessing. They think they got you figured. Then you're simple. They're more interested in the man they don't have figured out. They was like, man, he's just different. I don't understand it. Like, he's just like a different, I think I got to him, because one day you'll be something else and another day you'll be disinterested again. And I'm making some progress. The other day, I got him to smile a little bit. It's just, this is like something they want to do. They want to make a breakthrough. So for Steve, your actions speak louder than words. How do you relate to yourself in a crowd? She knows you already have fame and a name, and now you have money. She's going to link herself to you, and together y'all are going to be a brand. It's like you and your other wife, that wasn't going to do it. This is going to be a brand. We could build a brand together now. Well, people don't people don't really get it, but when you look at Steve and the way he's let himself get manipulated like this, as a woman knew what she was doing when she got there. She knew how deeply this dude was desperate to have her. She knew she could do anything she wanted. Marjorie has been with drug dealers and hustlers. So she knows that a woman could become a hustler herself, especially psychologically. Being around somebody like that, they put on the game. They know how to get what they need to get. Now, here's the problem. Sorry about that, but I got to answer this question for somebody because this one Hispanic woman, she was very adamant about saying, yo, this is a problem. And I think if we got a problem, we need to address it in the right way, because if we don't, we setting ourselves back, and we want to always move forward, because if we not moving forward, we moving backwards. And if you're moving backwards, is you see how stupid it starts to get off track already from the jump. Now, Steve Harvey is what they call midlife crisis and living in his own, like he wants to go, what they say, living in his second childhood. He's having a midlife crisis. Like Harrison Ford has done it. There's been plenty of people that's living out this fantasy and wanting to go in different directions and all that stuff. Like, you could get speechless around a woman sometimes if they're just strikingly beautiful. Sometimes people don't know what to say. My thing is, say less. Your body language says everything. Women can tell a confident man when they look at him. They can tell a confident man when they look at him. When they don't have a confident man in front of them, it becomes more and more of a problem. Well, this is all educational to y'all. She knew she could get and manipulate Steve to do anything she wanted because he lusted her so much. So she got her kids named Harvey. Okay, that's next. I mean, that's done. So what's next is after that, okay, here we go. Now let's get part of this inheritance. Let's get all of these things going. We didn't we didn't did all of this and turned all of this into a decision we needed to make. Sorry, I got a text message. But yeah, they turned all of this into a decision that we needed to all make collectively. Now, Marjorie knew her only problems that she was going to have was I'm going to have problems here. And that problem was with the children. She knew with these kids, I'm going to end up having a very bad headache because they're going to give it to me. And I'm going to need to do something about it. So pushing the children away by having Steve focus all of his attention on her children, that's going to build the brand because everybody's interested in Lori. She's the cute girl and all of this. So giving her the opportunity since she was little, y'all groomed that girl to be in this business being used and abused by rich men. That's it. Used and abused. But that's Steve's fault. I blame nobody but Steve and his wife. The wife is giving her the playbook and saying, "This is how you're gonna make it, girl," and she's blind to all of it because she's blinded by stardom. So she likes the fame more than the money. And now the older she's got the little boob job, she's got all her little stuff put together. She don't act, she can't sing. What is her talent? Well, I'm just gonna look pretty. They could easily shut everybody up. They could easily shut everybody up. If you want to shut people up, you, Big Boom, and the wife, y'all go out to dinner or do some, shut some people up if you want to do it that way. No, I never seen anybody. I've never seen anyone, rather, I think, harbor any ill feelings towards them or anything, except for it's coming from inside of the family. Yeah, when it comes from inside of the family, then you started to see things at a different dynamic, you know. Some of this information we wouldn't have gotten. Like nobody cares about, it's like this, man. Nobody cares about the performance or how everything was working. No, I see it a little differently than other people might see it. From what I'm seeing now, people just has this attraction to conflict because they don't know how to resolve anything. That woman can cheat on him 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Like cheat on him 1,000 times. Steve would never leave that woman. Steve would never leave that woman. And the reason why that is, it's clear. This is why I implore you to go to the Patreon. The Carceno for Life Patreon is definitely where you want to go and where you want to be if you want to communicate and see what's really going on behind the scenes and what we was told. But like I told you, this is coming from inside. So this could be the children that's unhappy with what's going on in the situation, leaking out said information to the general public. Because don't nobody care about Steve Harvey like that. It's like he's not an exciting dude. That's the only way these things normally play out. Shoot, man, I'm telling you, you try to divorce, you try to divorce some of these doggone people, man. They will get you up out of there. They're not about paying the money. Well, you gotta understand. When you're in a situation where a lot of pressure is on you and you want to be seen, there's a lot of other people Steve Harvey tried to court that they just weren't interested. He tried to date a couple of R&B singers. I'm not gonna throw their name in all of this mix, but Steve tried to get with them, and they turned him down. Like they just weren't interested in no Steve Harvey. He was more like their daddy. But Steve is more like the father figure. He loved that. She let him play that role while molding him to be this guru, this positive. Like that's his brand. Like right now, he fired the social media guy for posting something stupid on his page, something that he would never say, because that hurts his brand. Money comes and goes. I tell people that all the time, that money will always come and go. But the people in this world will have to deal with the fallout that comes along with everything. Anyway, this went on way too long. Uh, anyway, shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life, Kwame Brown Bus Life 2.0. Welcome to HD TV with the two eyes. Ticket TV, Mondo Black TV. Everybody out there creating positive videos, man. Jose Rodriguez's channel, I think it's Jag Sports. Check that out. And definitely, I'm out.